Hey everyone, 412 Sports Cards here today, back with another video, and today I'm going to be discussing 5 investment mistakes that I made as a beginner in the hobby. So let's get right into it. The first 2 mistakes are kind of the same category, but the first mistake I made was focusing on like cool patches with low numbered parallels. So essentially what I was doing back in the day is I was buying a lot of cards like this. So these 5-star patch autos, numbered to only 35, so they're kind of hard to get. They're kind of hard to find. But I was picking up a lot of these, and I was buying them with the thinking that they had great investment potential because of the nice patches that they had, and because of their low numbering. Now, I mean, both of those are not inherently bad ideas. It's not inherently bad to look for a nice patch or a low-numbered card, but what I saw with these was that I clearly missed something. This Goldschmidt I bought for around 30 bucks, way back. I mean, these are 2014 cards. I probably bought them a little after that. But it's worth about 35 now, and that's it. And his tops updates have increased significantly more. So what we've seen here is that I clearly had something wrong. And what was essentially wrong is that I was pursuing rarity, but not the right kind of rarity. What matters for investment is that you have something that collectors and investors are seeking out, and I had not found that. These 5-star patch autos were not what the community was demanding, in whether it be an investment or a collecting community. So that's the reason these didn't go up in value that much. Rarity is good, but not unless you hone in on the rarity the collectors and investors are seeking. I guess that brings me to my second one, which was the way I looked at about autographs. This is honestly one of my largest, quite literally, largest mistakes, buying this 2017 Bowman Chrome Draft box topper auto of Mackenzie Gore. Now, I bought this pretty soon after this was pulled. I got it in a trade, and I was ungraded at the time, but I was wowed. It cost about the same as a base auto, and it was numbered out of 35, and I was like, wow, this is a steal. Actually, no, it was actually much. It was a little more in the base auto. These were about, I think it was about 70, and the base autos were about 40. But I was like, wow, this is like an absolute steal. Like, these are incredibly rare. But you know what we've seen since then? Mackenzie Gore, first of all, has delivered on pretty much anything you could have wanted out of a prospect who was that high of a pick. He is a top prospect. I think he's a top 10 prospect right now in MLB Pipeline. And these box toppers, not really going anywhere in price. First of all, they're incredibly hard to find. They are very difficult to find on eBay because there are so few of them. But the prices on these, I don't think there's any confidence that they've gone up a lot. Meanwhile, the base autos have gone up about 250%. I would certainly not say the same for this. The bulky nature of the card makes it hard to store, and it's just not what collectors want. So that's a reason you shouldn't be looking at these. Instead, what I should have been focusing on was numbered parallels of the base auto. Those have gone up in price nicely and are what you should be looking at instead of weird low-numbered autos that are very random, like this one. Anyways, let's put that one off to the side. And I guess going to my third point I would have for you guys would be that I wasn't properly using top loaders back in the day. Back in the day, I mean, so when you have a card like this, let's just get this on out of here. See how I have this Ryan Mountcastle relic? This is just a relic out of 99 that I pulled and just sleeved up, as you should. I wasn't putting my cards in penny sleeves back in the day. I thought you just put them straight in the top loader, which was foolish because that's how you scratch the surface, especially with a card like this that has this jersey window. You can ding it, and it's really bad for the card. Now, you want to be using these penny sleeves. Now, the key here is you'll notice with this, see how thick this card is because it's a thick relic card? And see how it fits comfortably in this sleeve? Here, I mean, I'll show you how easy. Like, I just take it out. We can just slide that puppy right back in real smooth because I bought a thick penny sleeve. They're meant to fit up to 130-point cards. You should definitely be buying those if you have thick cards like this in your collection. Do not be trying to jam them into regular penny sleeves. You will ding corners. I used to do it before I knew these existed. Never will make that mistake again, and I don't want you guys to be making those mistakes either. And when you're loading them into your top loaders here, if this were sometimes with your thin cards, it's hard to get them down. So I always recommend going like this and kind of hitting them against your hand to get it down into the top loader as opposed to pushing it down when you can avoid it, because it's safer for the card. You don't want to ding that top edge. Anyways, that's kind of more of a storing mistake that I made that has investment ramifications. And going on to the fourth point is I was buying cards too soon after release. These Bowman Draft Cole Winn autos, I had more at one point. I was picking these up right after the set came out. And that was incredibly foolish. I was buying, and these are not worth very much now, but I was buying them when the prices were high. Like, since as more and more packs get ripped and ripped, the supply increases and increases, which drives prices naturally down. Sometimes it's hard when you like cards and you like to see the new sets, it's hard to hold yourself back and not buy the cards as soon as they're released. But if you're looking at things with an investment mindset, you need to stay disciplined. And I think it's a beginner mistake to buy things soon after release, and it's going to cost you if you're looking at your cards as an investment, and it certainly did for me with these Cole Winns. Now, I mean, there are instances where if you're talking about maybe more of a collecting ideology, it also has some implications for investment. If a card comes out that's exceedingly rare and you think you're going to have trouble being able to purchase in the future, for example, these Cole Winn base autos, not hard to come by. It's a base auto, tons and tons of these made. This Ortiz, notable nicknames, 2014 National Treasures, numbered out of 25, with the Big Papi inscription is what makes the card. First of all, 2014 National Treasures is the only NT set, I believe, to feature these notable nicknames Ortiz inscription cards. And there are only 25 of them, so they're incredibly hard to come by. So that might be an investment strategy for you where you think these might appreciate in value just because of how rare they are. If there's something you think is desirable, remember the mistake we made over here with this Mackenzie Gore box topper. I bought this blindly, just thinking, oh, it's rare, I should buy it. I did not think through why it might be worth money in the future. If you're buying cards soon after release, because you think they're going to be hard to get in the future, you need to have a good investment ideology of why you think that card is poised to increase in value over the future. That is really, really important. When I bought this one, I mean, I guess you could argue that the inscription makes it desirable. I mostly bought this for a collection reason, but I just wanted to show it off as an example of when it made sense for me to buy a card soon after release and pay a little bit of that premium. The fifth and final mistake I'm going to share with you guys is buying quantity over quality. Once again, we turn to the example of these Cole Winns. I was not making a good decision when I bought these. I hadn't really thought out if I liked Cole Winn that much as a prospect as compared to the other pitchers in the draft class, but I was buying them because they were cheaper. And what instead I should have been doing was maybe focusing on a higher end prospect that I actually liked more in the draft. Examples could have been Matthew Liberatore, who has done pretty well. His cards have done well. He was another guy I was looking at, but they cost a little more, and I got cheap, and I just went for quantity over quality. And I think I learned my lesson on that one, and I just went hoping you guys can figure that out, that you don't always need a bunch of cards. Instead, you can sometimes just hone in on better ones, and you'll be happier for it. It also kind of has implications with these like 1955 Topps cards that I've collected over time. I was originally at one point I was picking up a ton of these just PSA 8 no name guys. You have no idea who they are. I have no idea who they are. They were just clean copies. They're $50 each, still worth $50 each. And I kind of regret buying all of these and spending my money on this quantity of just cards that I have no idea who they are. They're nice copies, but like not really worth it. Instead, all of those cards are worth the same as this clean PSA 7 Warren Spahn. I mean, this is a Hall of Famer here, as opposed to these no-name players. These are graded a little higher. This is one grade lower, 7 versus an 8. But it's a nice card of a Hall of Famer, and for that reason, I just like it so much more. I think it's smart as an investment. I think over time, quality is what performs. Quality cards are the ones that see steady increases, as opposed to quantity of no names, which, first of all, won't go up as fast, and second of all, are often more risky. So, both as an investor and a collector, I like looking to quality, like this card, over quantity. So, that's something I would advise you guys to do too. So, anyways, I hope you enjoyed these 5 tips. They kind of ranged from, what to be looking at buying, how to store your cards, and techniques for buying. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch y'all next time.